Good morning. My name is Ashok, and welcome to my channel called Read to Expand. Today, I'm going to talk about the relationship between saving, inflation, and investment. In fact, from now onwards, I will try to speak a mix of both Hindi and English because I've got certain requests to speak in Hindi as well so that my voice can reach to the audience. तो मैं अपनी बात को थोड़ी बहुत हिंदी में भी बोलने की रखने की कोशिश करूँगा ताकि मेरी आवाज़ लोगों तक पहुँच सके। और आज के इस वीडियो में मैं बात करूँगा कि बचत, निवेश और महँगाई के बीच में क्या संबंध है और हमें क्यों करना चाहिए? In fact, as far as the saving is concerned, our forefathers and the fathers has done the saving, but they have never, you know, taught us that why you should do the investment. In fact, the concept of investment is very, very new, which our fathers and forefathers never knew about it. And there was a reason behind it. At that point of time, maybe 100 years back or 200 years back, people used to do the saving, and that particular saving has associated value. When I talk about the value at that point of time, the currency was in the form of some kind of metal, and that metal was either gold or silver, which has its own innate value associated with it. So, what has happened in the older generation, that our fathers and forefathers used to get the goods and services in the exchange of currency, but that currency has its own value because it was in the form of either gold or in the form of silver or in the form of brass. In fact, okay, even if we talk about the India for the regular matter, even during the British period, our standard was the silver standard. So people used to exchange the money in the form of the silver standard. So it was had its own value, and people used to just do the saving, knowing that uh, if there is if in future if there is some difficult circumstances come into our life, with whatever saving we have done, we can sustain that particular period, we can survive that particular period, because they did not knew that what is called inflation, महंगाई क्या होती है, and why we need to do the investment in order to beat the inflation, because they never knew about it, hence they have never taught us. But then what has happened, as you know, that people started exploring outside their own territory, and a lot of people has gone beyond their own country, started exploring. Britishers has gone out, French people have gone out, they have gone to the different parts of the world, they started doing the trade, and later on later on, they have taken the wealth from that particular country and gone back to their own country. So when they have gone back to their own country, when the supply of metal have increased in that specific geography, for example Europe, let's say, for the very first time they have seen what is called as an inflation. So as you know that when does the inflation occur? Whenever there is supply of money increases in the ecosystem, the inflation comes into play. Okay? लेकिन उस जमाने में भी इन्फ्लेशन या महंगाई बहुत धीरे धीरे बढ़ती थी. During that period, you know that World War One has happened in the past, and World War Two has happened in the past, and at that point of time, inflation or the महंगाई, जिसे हम हिंदी में महंगाई कहते हैं, थोड़ी बहुत बढ़ जाती. And that was the precise reason, since our older generation have not seen what is called inflation or महंगाई, they have never taught us the concept of investment. Okay, in fact, the concept of investment is basically new, and in fact, it has started. Concept of investment has started because the inflation has come into, and in order to beat the inflation, people started talking about that how I can do the compounding by doing the. As you know that after the World War Two, there was an agreement actually has happened in London in 1944, that we are going to make the dollar as a reserve currency, and the dollar was backed by the gold standard. Okay? But then what has happened in 1971, in fact, remember it correctly, Mr. Nixon, at that point of time, the president was Richard Nixon, I think, and he has removed the dollar from the gold standard. And then what does this mean, that that dollar was no longer backed by the gold? का मतलब ये था कि now we are talking about the concept of fiat currency. Okay, the concept of fiat currency indicates that government can print the money at their own will, and there is no link with the dollar any. Okay, as you know, even in India also, what has happened during the demonetization period, as long as the government was backing certain currencies, it has its own value. Okay, but the moment the government has backed out during the demonetization period, that particular specific currency has lost its value, and today it's not even exchange. People do not use that specific currency. So today currency what we use basically is called as a fiat currency. Okay, which does not have a value if the government does not support it, or it does not have a value if the government does not back it. And we have seen it live in our life, in fact, during the demonetization period. And what has happened is that the moment you talk about that fiat currency increases in the ecosystem, the inflation creeps in. And the moment inflation creeps in, your savings starts losing value. Let us understand this particular concept with an example. So the example is, let's presume that you have a gold coin of 100 gram, and you have a 100 rupee currency as well. And let's presume that right now it's 1990. Okay. Through some mechanism, we have been transported in the era of 1990, let's say. Okay. And you have put these two components. When I say components, I'm going to say the 100 rupee currency note and the 100 rupees gold coin in a locker. Okay, and after 32 years, that is 2023 right now, you take out the currency of 100 rupee note and you take out the 100-gram gold coin from the locker. Can you imagine what will be the value of these two? Of course, you know that the 100 rupee currency note in the last 32 years has lost its value and it has not increased, whereas gold has increased, not just increased in 32 years, it has multiplied the value on its own and also beat the inflation. Okay, and that is why I always say that when you are doing an investment, you make sure that you beat the inflation. Otherwise, if you are just saving it and investing in an instrument which is not beating the inflation, you are definitely becoming poorer day by day. क्योंकि ये जो महंगाई है, ये अगर आप इसको बीट नहीं करते हैं, अगर आप अपनी सेविंग्स को सही जगह पे इन्वेस्ट नहीं करते हैं, तो आप मान लीजिए कि आप इन्फ्लेशन को बीट नहीं कर रहे हैं। और अगर आप इन्फ्लेशन को बीट नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो आपकी जो पैसे जो बचत जो आपने की है उसकी वैल्यू कम हो जाती है। द परचेजिंग पावर, हम जिसको इंग्लिश में परचेजिंग पावर कहते हैं, उसकी क्षमता कम हो जाती है। दैट इज व्हाई आई ऑलवेज से दैट डू द सेविंग and do the investments in a right product which can beat an inflation. Okay, and when you're talking about do the investments, you can do the investments, you can do the diversification mainly into the different asset classes, which is kind of equity, gold, and the real estate, and whatever you like it, in which you feel comfortable and which can beat the inflation. Otherwise, believe me, you are not becoming rich. Despite doing the saving, you are becoming poorer day by day, because inflation is going to creep in and it's going to remain there, because if there is a growth, there will always be an inflation. Okay? So, friends, at the end, as a summary, I would just like to tell you that if you are doing the saving is not enough, because, as I explained, that the fiat currency, and as time pass by, is its value. Whereas if you do the investments such as real estate, gold, or equity, their value increases as the time passes by, and also it beats the inflation. Okay. In fact, if you see the richest people in the world right now, and if you can count them, and I'm sure you can count them on the fingertips, or maybe even you can go and see the list of the top 100 people in the world, you can see that how much equity they hold, or how much real estate or gold they hold. Okay. So that is what I'm just trying to say, that do the right kind of investments and leave the investments when it is to beat the inflation. So, guys, this was the crux of, this was the summary of the entire discussion. फैक्ट आपने अपना बहुमूल्य वक्त दिया मुझे इस वीडियो को देखने के लिए आप बहुत 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 धन्यवाद. And if you like the content of this channel, please do subscribe and also share with your friends and family. It might help them in some other. Thank you very much, and have a great day.